Hi, I'm LesaMcLaughlin and I'm owner of Excel Pilates DC, and today we're going to do a little tutorial in rolling, and we will be discussing the progression from rolling like a ball to seal to open leg rocker. And whenever you're working on your progression in the mat exercises, you're going to do them in that order. Open leg rocker is going to be the most advanced of the three. As you advance through the exercises in your Pilates mat work in general, you will be doing more and more rolling over exercises that require more strength and flexibility, especially in the hamstrings and lower back. So we work our way up to that. Rolling like a ball is really your first hips off exercise. So we're working to massage the back, stretch and go for nice uniform length in the spine, and roll with efficiency and control. I always like to tell my clients to plan your roll. Think about what you need to do to accomplish the task and find your balance at the top every time. You don't just want to kind of shift your weight and hope for the best. You want it to be a meaningful and deep experience in your abdominal muscles and your powerhouse. So for rolling like a ball, a good thing to prepare yourself for that stretch and movement is just feeling a small curve in your low back. So your hip bones, your ASIS, will be a little bit away from your femur, your thigh bones, and you're going to hold your arms out straight in front of you. From there, you will deepen the work in the low abs, try to maintain the lift of the upper spine, and round back. You're going to hollow out through the low abs and then round back up. So we do want to challenge yourself to go a little further and a little further, stretching through the low back and coming up. Now, if this is new to you, you might find that there's a point of no return. Go for that spot, challenge it a little bit, but make sure you can come back up with control. Your feet should remain on the mat and your legs and heels about sit bones width apart. You'll inhale, exhale, and come up. For rolling like a ball, we're going to close that shape. You're going to move forward so that you have rolling room behind you and place one hand on each ankle. Draw the heels in close to the sit bones with the shoulders down. Now, depending on your flexibility and your body type, you may need to hold behind the knee, especially if you have a knee issue, so that you're not putting too much flexion in the knee joint. But in general, you're going to go for that spot down around your ankles and have a nice sense of lift in the abdominals and upper spine. You also want to make sure that you have that little bit of space that I talked about before between your ASIS, your hip bone, and your femur. You're going to take a deep breath, feel the length of the spine, looking down towards your center, and you want to roll back by deepening the work in your abs. Lift your sit bones up and then roll back up and balance. Now you want to balance without stopping yourself with your feet. It's all about controlling your abs. Inhale, roll back, hips go up and up. Some important things to remember is that you only want to roll back to the area between your shoulder blades and never roll onto your neck. Your head should not touch the mat. There's a sense of deepening that helps you come back up and go for the control. Key issues: keep the legs drawn in. Your sit bones and shin bones should feel like they're coming up with your shoulders to your shoulders, and your knees and your hips and shoulders are all in line. So we'll try that again. Hands are on the ankles, elbows wide to the side. You will take a deep breath. Inhale, roll back, lift the hips. Exhale, come up. Inhale, lift, and up. We're always rolling through a nice rounded shape in the spine and coming back up, right? So no kicking or extending or jerking or tossing. It's really a sense of opening up the low back. You can also just go for a little rocking action if you feel like you can't make it all the way up. This is still going to be a successful execution of the exercise if you do a little rock and rock. And sometimes with a little gentle nudge, you can make it all the way back up to your balanced position. So the next exercise you will layer in your rolling exercises are seal. Seal is a little more challenging because you're opening up the position of the legs and going for a little bit more suspended and timed out roll. So you need to have a bit more control to roll over as well as roll up. So our challenge for this one is to have now your hands around and underneath, and you're going to balance behind your sit bones. The feet are up, and generally I like to say that your heels and feet are kind of in the same plane as your navel. So you have a little curve, the chest is open, the shoulders are nice and broad, and we want to be able to move your legs in the hip sockets. I'm going to turn to face back so you can see how my legs are opening and closing and tapping and moving from the hips. We want to feel a sense of curve and support and balance in the low abs. So we tap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You roll back again to the area between your shoulder blades, go for a big stretch and tap 1, 2, 3 and come up. Now I'm not actually trying to stop there, I'm just trying to time it out. So we'll inhale 2, 3, roll back and stretch overhead 2, 3. Going for the balance and control. And the legs are in a little more open position, extended away from the body. And 1, 2, 3 and roll back 1, 2, 3. And come up and balance. So it's that suspension and timing and the control that make that exercise a little more challenging. Then the next exercise in the progression of your rolling will be open leg rocker. Open leg rocker requires a little bit more flexibility in the hamstrings and a little more lift in the upper spine because you're trying to maintain the connection of the arms and hands to the legs so that you kind of close that chain, that kind of circular connection in the body. And again, you're balanced back. And I like to start this exercise with a little stretch. So we're going to challenge one leg at a time to extend and bend. Other leg extends and bend. And then you can go out to extend both legs and just check your balance and then bend, because that's going to be the most challenging part of that exercise, is to come up and control your balanced position. We're rolling intentionally, not accidentally. So you extend out and bend. Then we're going to try rolling, and just like rolling like a ball, you want to feel like you're lifting your hips up and over, but now your legs are extended and just a little wider than your shoulders. So they're basically inside the frame of your mat. You're going to deepen the work in your low abs and inhale, roll back and lift your hips and then come up to your balance. Inhale, roll back, exhale, come up, and then you inhale, lift up, sit bones up towards your heels and coming up. Then you can bring your legs together. And if you were doing your mat sequence, you would transition to your corkscrew if that is the level that you're working at. Hopefully you'll find this helpful. They're a good way to practice working up for that progression. Always making sure that as you're layering in your exercises, you have rolling like a ball. Then you would do your seal at the end of your sequence. And then as you layer in your sequence, you add open leg rocker.